Hi guys, welcome. This is Charity's Baba USA, your number one channel.
North for 3 miles.
I'm going to work, so just follow. My GPS here is telling me where to go. I just want to answer some questions that you guys have asked. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing my videos on my way to wherever I am going, because my time is limited, guys, but we are going to get there. So first of all is to thank you for watching my videos, guys. You guys are awesome. Asking those questions, giving me feedback, supporting my channel. Thank you. And I want to welcome the new members. I see the number is still growing. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing. Kindly consider subscribing. Another thing that I like to remind you all the time is when you watch a video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. Make a comment, make a feedback. As long as it's a positive feedback, guys, I really do appreciate it. And ask those questions, because they give me a lot of information that I can try all my best and help you guys to do it. Because what I do is that I just try to put out the information out there, because most people do not know about the DV lottery. And if you look at the feedback that I normally get, the questions that I get from people, you can tell there's some people who do not know what the DV lottery. And that's why I talk about it, because you can apply and you win. It's a lottery, but it's good to try so many things in life. And like I said, if you win the DV lottery, your life changes. When you come and live here in the US, your life changes to a 360 degrees, guys. It does. I hope, and I'm glad for the feedback I got from the video I did with Levy. Like he is a testimony that you can come in here and just by whatever he said that everything changes, And that's why I'm very passionate in talking about the US, because I want to reach out to that person in the village, that person who has no clue, but they can try out. And I normally tell you that the information that I give you is not my information. That is information that you go to the website, travel.state.gov, and you read, you read. And when you read, you get to know stuff. So I have some few questions that I'm gonna talk about here. So the first one was this person has won the DV lottery, and he has, I think, 4 kids, and he's here and his wife. So he's wondering how many 2NLs are they supposed to receive. Now you only receive one in your email, just one, guys. You only receive one in your email, and then from there they instruct you what to do, and that email goes to the primary applicant, because they call the other people, the other family members, they call them the derivatives. So the main applicant is the main thing. He's the one who will get the email, and that is why we have to be very, very careful about that email that we use when we are doing our first application. At the same time, we have to keep it, know the password, don't share it with anybody, because as soon as you win, like when we apply in early October, we are going to check in May, you have all that information. And of course you have your confirmation number when you apply, because the confirmation number is the one that you will check with. But then after that, the most important thing is your email, because they only communicate after you have won. Remember, like I said, they don't contact you with your email to tell you that you have won. But as soon as you have been selected, the mode of communication will be through email. So very, very important. So you only get 1 2NL. Even if you are a family of 10, it doesn't matter. Then they see that these are the question that was asked. This is interesting, but it's okay. It's a very good question. This guy has got 2 wives. And like I said, I did another video, I was talking about many wives. I know many African countries now are embracing that thing of having 2 wives. I think I'm still behind. I've never acknowledged how someone, and I'm not against anybody who has many wives, but I've never acknowledged how someone is allowed to have 2 women, and I wonder why, if maybe that, if the wife got another husband, that man agree. But anyway, it is what it is. And some people are different, some people are embracing it, others are not. But you find that here in the US it's different. You can only have 1 wife. Only 1 wife. That's the only thing you can have. So you cannot apply for your DV lottery and put your...
mile, keep right to stay on West 13th Street North.
You cannot apply your DV lottery and enter your 2 wives there. You cannot do that. That one is going to be disqualified. However, if you have 2 wives, of course, you can decide on which one to put. I don't know how that goes, but that's my thought. But if those 2 wives have got kids, you have to mention all those kids, because those are your step kids, and they are entitled to be included. But the second wife is not. The second
keep
wife
right to stay on West 13th
is
Street
not,
North.
because the U.S. law, and you find that here, if you're married, you have to be legally
Continue
married.
for 3/4 of a mile.
And my GPS is guiding me. You have to be married, and you have to have a legal document that you're married. And like I tell you here, you can see a man and a woman living, they have lived for 20 years, but they have never legalized their marriage. Now they don't call each other husband and wife, they call each other boyfriend and girlfriend.
In half a mile,
That's
turn
how they
right
call
onto
each
West
other.
Zoo Boulevard.
So, and like I told you, they normally follow the laws from here. So if you have 2 wives, there is no way that you're gonna indicate wife number 1 and wife there's not even that slot of saying whatever. So you decide which is, I think
right
you would have
West
to
Zoo
decide
Boulevard.
which is your favorite wife, and then maybe you can enter there. But that is kind of tricky. It's kind of tricky, but what is it? It is that here in the US you are only allowed.
I-235 North Ramp.
Oh, come on! You are making a lot of noise. You are only allowed to have 1 wife. So it's only 1 wife, but the kids, the adopted kids, the step kids, they're all kind of kids. All those ones, you have to include them. A very, 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 very good question. Now there was this other one who told me that she is single and he has 2 kids. Now I know this is a feedback from the other video that I did about your ex. Now if I had my children and that man, because she said that that man has never wanted anything to do with those children, but we cannot deny the fact that it is their dad. But if you really, 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 really don't want to include that person, because if that person has not been in your life, I think it would be unfair. And like I said, these cases are individually. There are some people they will be asked for that stuff. There are some people who are not. It depends. So if I had this kind of man who I had children with, and he did not acknowledge my kids, he has never helped them, he has never been in my life, then I would go and get a legal document,
North ramp, then merge onto I-235 North,
showing that that person has been an absentee parent. That's what I would do. Because you find that if you didn't get married to him, or if he doesn't care about your kids, then why should you worry about him? I shouldn't. But for the purposes of, in case they ask you where is the father, because they can, then I would have something to support, to support a legal document, not by word of mouth. It can be by word of mouth, guys. You have to have something to say that that man was not in the life of your child. I would have something that would support me, because you don't want to go there and then you are told to go and get permission from the dad, and you get their photocopy of their ID. You don't want to be told all that. And I'm not saying that everybody is told that. It's individualized, guys. But that's what I would do. I would get a documentation that would not have a place for them to ask me where the dad is, because if he's not there, he's not there. You know what I mean? Some people don't even know where the dads are. And like I said, the system here is a little bit different, and they're not going to judge you with the system of which country you're coming from. No, they will not. They are going to judge you with the system of here. So you can do that. That's what I would do, because I would need to cover myself. It's called covering yourself. You cover your back. In case they ask for that and you know that that man is nowhere, then you can give them a legal document showing I have been the sole guardian of these children. The man is nowhere. But there is no way you're going to go there and say by word of mouth. They are not going to believe you. I told you here in the US it's about paperwork. Like, it is what it is. It's about paperwork. You have to produce paperwork. Now, there was another person who was asking about the website. Like I said, the website is travel.state.gov. Google it. And you can go and read that information. It's there. It's out there. It's there. You can see the visa bulletin. You can see the photo requirements. You can see the rules of the DV lottery. You can see everything. It's there. So Google that and read more, because information is power. I told you guys, if I had all this information, I could not have had so many hitches. You know, when we were in Kenya, I remember this time that we had already been given the visa, but they needed us to pay for the money for the green card. So we did not know that that money is supposed to be paid for, but with a debit card and all that. And we had all that stuff, but we did not know. So I remember we were told to go. Just a friend told us, and she was really helpful. She told us to go to this guy, that he was gonna pay for us and whatever. So we ended up going to town. But when we went to talk to that guy, we really did not trust him. Like, we didn't, because he was doing the work of filling out applications for people. I don't know what. And then there's a comment that guy made that I'm the only one who knows how to pay that money. So so if you don't pay, then I don't know what you're gonna do. So, but if you have the information, you know that nobody is gonna take ownership of such stuff, because that's such stuff you're supposed to do for yourself. So it's very, very important, and that's why I normally tell you that after you watch my video, go verify and try and do it for yourself. Because if someone is explaining to you, this is how the form is, this is how you do the application, it is not hard to do it, guys. You can do it. Do it for yourself, so that you are able to remember, this is the email that I used, this is my confirmation number, is where I kept it. It's very, very important, guys. And you know, I cannot insist, I don't know, I like to insist that, because when you come to the US, you have to go through something called a culture shock, whereby you find that the way you are used to do things is not how you are going to be doing them. For example, maybe you are used to having a friend, like in the village, like where I came from. I remember there was this person that we would go to if we wanted to go to an office somewhere. We would like, hey, go to so and so's place. They are gonna tell you what to do. Or maybe we didn't even have a car. You are like, go to so and so, and they will give you transportation. You know, all those responsibilities in the society that are given, especially in the African setting. It is not like that here. When you come here, guys, normally what you do is that you learn how to do everything for yourself. Even your kids, you teach them how to do everything for themselves. Even when they are little, you teach them how to feed themselves. You teach them how to make their own bed. Like I remember, I look at my kids, the ones I've had two here in the US.
In half a mile, keep left
And
to stay on I-235 north.
I had two before I came in. But I remember when I was coming in, my Christine was only 4, and we were still feeding her. She didn't know how to feed herself and all that. And it's okay, because that's our setting. But you find that here, when the child is able to sit down, when they are able to sit down and they can munch something, you start sitting them on the stool and giving them little by little, so that they can know how to feed themselves. By the time that child is 1 year old, they can sit down and feed themselves. You know what I mean? So that's how it is. You are taught how to do everything for yourself. Even homework. When they are doing homework, I watch them, and sometimes I'm trying to bring my input. They're like, no, mom, I will let me do it by myself. That's how it is, guys. And that's why I tell you, you have to learn to do it for yourself. That's the only way to be successful here in the US. Because you might come and you say, oh, I will have a host, and my host is going to help me with anything. No, your host has a lot of things. Your host has a job. Your host, maybe, if I am your host, I am going to school, I have to go to work and maybe some time. I have my kids to take care of. So when will I do these things for you? And you have to understand all these things. That's why I tell you, guys, the host will guide you and show you this is where you're gonna go and get your documentation. This is where you can go for driving or whatever, because you have to go a little bit for driving so that you can know the roads, because the roads are a little bit different here. But then after that, it's you by yourself. It's not the way you are saying, oh, I'm gonna go to so and so. No, it doesn't work like that. You have to do everything for yourself. I remember when we went to get our first loan for our car, because like when we came in, we stayed, and then it started becoming cold. Like, you know, I don't know if I've ever told you this story. When we came in, my husband used to ride a bike to go to work, and he would ride a bike for like close to 2 hours. He was riding, you know, he was riding the bike very, very far away. Because there was, and it's not because that there were no people, it's because people have different schedules. The time that he was going to work and the time that he was coming back home, there was nobody to come and get you. So he told me, I am not going to be staying at work and I have clocked out for a whole hour waiting for someone to get out of work. No, I am going to ride my bike. So I'm trying kind of to tell you how individualized it is. So I remember when we wanted to go and get a loan to buy a car, because we really needed a car. I needed to take the kids to school. My husband needed, we needed something, a mode of transport, because we didn't have any. Because I remember in the beginning when we moved out from our host and we went to an apartment, my daughter was going to school, like a place that she was going for like 47 minutes. So I would carry her. I would carry her, like, you know, no, we would go, sometimes we would get a ride. I remember there was this lady who used to give us a ride in the morning, and she was only going to school for 3 hours, because the little ones, when they're 4, they only go to school for 3 hours. So what I would do is that I would sit in a park and wait. I would sit there and wait until 3 hours were over, and then when she was out, I would carry her, because she couldn't walk that long. So I would carry her and we'd get her back home. So she would leave to school around, she would leave school around 12:50, and then maybe we'd be home by close to 3, because it was so far and I was getting so tired. But so I remember when we went to get the loan, we were so scared. We were like, how are we gonna do it or whatever? So this lady volunteered to take us to the bank to ask for a loan. But then I remember when we went in, me and my husband, that lady was told she cannot come in, you know, and you know she had taken us. She had to wait outside, and then we had to go in and talk to the manager and all that stuff. So here, trying to tell you that most of the things you have to do for yourself. So when we realized that there is nobody to hold your hand, your host is going to hold your hand like 1%, but the rest of the work, it's upon you to do it. So when we realized that is when we were like, we have to do the things by our own, you know, we have to set our own limits, do our things. If we don't know anything, we call, we Google, we go, we walk in, whatever. So if I tell you, try and fill out the DV lottery for yourself, do it. Because when you win, from there it's upon you. Even when you're going to the embassy, you're not going to be taken by anybody. Even if people take you to the embassy, they don't pass past the door. You go there by yourself. So do it for yourself, guys. I'm treating you like the American way, because that's the best way for you to learn. Okay, now there is another person who is the host. The host is the person who will give you an address after you have won your DV lottery. So, when you have won the DV lottery, a host is required. And why is a host required? A host is required so that you can. A host is required so that you are able to get like some guidance, because this is different, guys. So your host will come and get you from the airport, and then they will take you to their house, because you want to be able to rent your house the first day you come into the US, unless you have a lot of money and you want to go and buy cash. Even when you are renting a house here, they have to do a background check. I remember our host really helped us, because when we went to rent our first house, we didn't have credit and they didn't know our history. So he agreed, and we put his name and ours, like we rented the house. he wasn't living there, but he agreed because he had lived here for a long time, and he had good credit, and he had they knew about his past, but us, we did not know. So that's why you need a host. Of course, it's not, you can say that you don't need, yes, you need a host, but you can say that you don't need an I-34, whatever. Or maybe you look for someone, you tell them, I have this money, go buy me a house. But even if someone wants to go and buy you a house, you still need to be there to sign physically. Are you trying to see? So you need, the host is the person who lives here in the US, and they can be able to guide you on how to do it. And it's very, very important when you're looking for a host to know what kind of person you're looking for, because the person has either to be a legal permanent resident, they have either to be a US citizen, or maybe they have to be here legally. It doesn't matter what legally, but they have to be here legally. But let's assume like someone had come to visit. Maybe I invited someone, they came to visit, and then maybe that person tells you that they are going to host you. That person is not going to be able to host you because they have been hosted. So a host is that person who is going to hold your hand when you come to the US, and they will tell you, this is how we do things, this is how, you know what I mean, all that stuff. So I hope that we are clear on that, guys. I hope that we are clear on that, guys. So you need a host. So there's this person who was like, so where do I get a host when I win? Now, I told you, I've been telling you guys about networking. Please network. You know, I'm going to host this lady, and I didn't even know her. She just kept reaching out to me all the time. She was reaching out, and she had that stumbling block of a house. I was like, whatever, let me just send her the stuff she needs so that she can get help. And that's how you know people. So start networking with people. It's not, when you look at, when you're looking at the social media handles for different people, especially who live abroad, try to connect with them. It's important to connect with those people. You might be, that person might not be able to help them by themselves, but they might be able to find you someone who might agree to become your host, because right now the hosting thing is becoming a little bit of essence, because you find that they have to send you their financial information to see if they are able to support you. But without that said and done, maybe you are very rich and you have all the money and everything, you really do not need the Form I-34. You can have a host, but you really do not need it. That is, if you can prove beyond reasonable doubt that when you come here in the US, you are able to sustain yourself until you get a job or you are on your 2 feet. If you have that kind of money, then that's okay. But the African setting, what I know is that by the time you are done with the embassy business, you are broke. You are even going to hustle for the money for the plane. That's how it works. So you have to know that is this money gonna be enough? You cannot compare, like for example, if I came from Kenya, when I compare the dollar and the shilling, it's different. The shilling is going to 100 and something. I think 110, I don't know. But and we are hoping that since we have a new president in Kenya, that things are gonna get better. You know, our eyes are on Ruto. You know, I was really praying for him. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy deserves to win. I don't know if this is a policeman who is going down to give me a ticket or no. So, so our eyes are on Ruto. I hope he looks like a good chap. Like he might be able to work. I hope that the presidency doesn't get into his head and he forgets about the people. You know, I wish him all the best, and I hope that we can prove him wrong and he can take Kenya to the next level. That's, you know, that's my hope. So so do I need to be, so, and this person, I need to talk about this question because this one looks like they are lost somewhere. So they're saying, do I need an invitation from the host when I win the DV lottery? And do I need for me to get to work? So do they need the invitation from the host for them to go and get to work? Now, when you win the DV lottery, that shows that you are, of course, you can't say it's 100% because there are some things that you have to do for you to get that visa. But you are you're better than that person who is going to ask for a student visa or for a visitor's visa. Like you're way better because you have won that lottery. And that's why if you win the DV lottery, do your best. And that's why I talked about if you have kids and the dad is nowhere or the mom is nowhere. You know, look for documentation that is gonna say that this person, yes, I acknowledge that he was there as the dad, but this person has never been involved in anything. Cover those holes. Because you never know what's gonna happen, guys. So when you get your DV lottery, you don't need to be invited by the host. No, the host is not sending you any invitation. The host, what he needs to do is just to send you an address and maybe to send you the financial information, the 1040 and the I-34, just a promissory note that that person can bail you out in case you are stuck here in the US. It doesn't legally bind you. You have to know that that document, it doesn't legally bind you or give you any entitlement. No, it doesn't. It's a promissory that that person is kind enough to hold your hand and to, you know, to bail you out in case anything happens. And the host doesn't have to look for a job for you. No, he doesn't. What the host needs to when you come here is to guide you and tell you they're hiring at McDonald's. You can go ask there. Maybe they are working somewhere in Walmart. They can tell you they have an opening in Walmart, or they drive you around and you see where there are openings and then you go and apply. Normally here, jobs are applied online. So, and then you are called. Maybe your host will write about like the person that you know, because they normally like references. Maybe you write your host as a reference. But that's all the host needs to do. The host you don't need an invitation from the host. The moment you get your DV lottery, you have to work it until you get your visa, and then when you get your visa, you're good to go. I hope that is capiche. Good. Now, let's look at there's another person who talked about insurance. They were talking about NHIF. Now, the NHIF can't work here in the US. When you come here, of course, you will not have insurance as a new person, but when you get a job, you apply for insurance, and there are so many ways to do the application. You can apply through your job, you can apply through another place called the marketplace, and that's a government thing. You can apply for Obamacare, but that one goes with the income. So you tell them your income, how your taxes are and everything, and then they will tell you the amount that you're supposed to pay depending on your income. So you can do that. So insurance and NHIF doesn't work. So if you have it when you're there, it's not going to help you over here. When you come to this place, you will have to have a new kind of insurance. Now, the last question I'm going to talk about is this person who was saying the country of origin. Now, like I said, when they do announce, because they're going to announce the DV lottery, they are going to have a list of countries that are eligible, and the eligibility of the countries depends on how many people have come into the US, because the countries that qualify have less people. When the DV lottery was introduced, they wanted like to help people. Earlier it was to help people of the people who are here, like to have their relatives. But later on, now it's like they take people from countries that do not have very many people. You know what I mean? So they have that list, and it's gonna be there on that website, guys. As soon as it's early October, we read that list together. I'll do some few lives, and we can read that list together, and then we can see who qualifies and who doesn't. But like I said, if you don't qualify and your husband comes from a country that qualifies, then you can apply and claim your spouse's country as your country of origin. So very, very important questions there, and I hope that I have been able to answer them to my best, to my best of my knowledge. And all that I say is that I always wish you all the best when you are when you're doing the application, and even in your life. And like I said, I always say this, the DV lottery, even for those who are starting to go for their interviews in October, it should not stop you from doing your work. It should not it should not make you quit your job. When you have it, process it, look for finances somewhere else, process it, still keep your job, because they normally tell you that if when you have been selected, it's not a must that you will get a visa. So you always have to put that in mind, guys. So I hope that that's clear, and let's meet in when we are doing another video. And please continue subscribing, please continue sharing my videos. Thank you, and God bless you.